Just a bit of a push and shove. He's going to give some attention to Cal Ward this afternoon. They're underway. Hampson, the first strike ruckman, and he actually smothered his own teammate in Gibbs. GWS Cornelio ready to go forward. Received the handball from Ward and heads out in the Phil Davis direction. Let's see how he goes with Dygan for company. Jamison came to lend a hand. Both he and Henderson got plenty of the footy last week. 21 disposals for Jamison and 19 for Henderson. As the ball goes over and out.
Looks like James McDonald is on Bryce Gibbs. Obviously, no Chris Judd, so the former Melbourne skipper on Bryce Gibbs for the day.
Scully and Simpson paired together at this stage too. Now Ward got crashed in, as you can see there, by Allard. A little bit sloppy.
You're starting a long way out, you two.
Plenty of dialogue already from the umpires, and I think it's Umpires Appreciation Weekend. We saw the coaches give a handshake out there to the umps before the game, which is good. Here's Ward into the pocket. Oh, Hampson tried to get the spoil, but Davis, as we said, more accustomed to playing in defence. A couple of interesting efforts for a handball. Vic Brogan had no room to move, and he's probably a little lucky not to be pinged there. Hampson was lurking, so too Palmer. Here's Cruiser as the Blues try and get down and dirty. Thornton didn't try and take possession. Allard under some pretty severe pressure from Shield. Cornelio's still there. Shield goes again. They're getting their hands on the footy. They're being forced back. Trying to change that was Bug with the handball, but it's still pretty tight in there and difficult to get any meaningful sort of possession. Still the umpire doesn't pay the mark. Power starts and they really spread wide, and Moore now charging. Pull of the gate. Audacious effort to bounce. And it all came undone for him in a bit of a heap as Gibbs clears to half forward.
Well, I don't think he's got any left foot. That's what I learned through that passage of play. Hutto tried to get on his preferred kicking foot there on the right.
And Thornton dribbles one along the line and it's out of bounds.
One thing, just trying to get onto the right foot. I don't know about the bounce. No, not running into traffic there. But one thing they've started really well, GWS, is their contested possessions. 10 to Carlton's 4. So a terrific start, winning the hard ball.
I'm sure he was actually tackled at the moment of release, and he actually just dropped the ball more than anything. But anyway, we've got
holding off the ball,
and we might see a little bit of that today with Mark Murphy, one of the prime targets, no doubt, for GWS. Sets it up to the square. Cruiser comes. He couldn't get there, but Betts in his milestone game did. Lost his footing. Cruiser, Walker. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty sharp. They're on the board.
Well, we talked about Walker pre-game. A little bit stiff to miss out on All-Australian selection last year. Played a little bit in the midfield in his first game back last week against Freo over at Patterson Stadium. Look at the recovery here from Matthew Cruiser from a ruckman. He's rover-like. He's like another on-baller. It was a terrific shot in the end. We just see there, Cade Simpson there. Eddie Betts trying to mark the ball, but just Cruiser. That's the beauty of a big man. I think gone are days where you just accept it just to tap the ball and use your body as a ruck.
So Walker, as we said, looked very good last week when he returned. He was leaping to great heights, if not dragging down the big marks, getting plenty of the ball and kicking goals, importantly. He's an important member of that Carlton forward line this year if they're going to do any real damage in the finals. You'd think they'd need a couple of goals from him a match.
I reckon Callan Ward's in for a long afternoon. David Allard is shadowing him every step of the way.
It's a game of inches, isn't it? The GWS get their first entry inside forward 50, and Phil Davis dropped what was a pretty simple mark, goes down the other end for a goal to Carlton.
Now the wrestle on again, but Hampson managed to break clear, and so too Murphy. Had time to really scope out the forward line. Go heading for Cruiser again. Moore was there with him all the way. Allard. Somehow that stays in, or does it? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, we know he's a very good run with type player. What Callum Ward needs to do is push forward now again. He's got a bit of a height mismatch on there, lad, so don't be afraid to push forward and use your marking strength. Definitely got a height advantage in the marking duel.
Lots of good one-on-one battles. It looks as if this is going to be a learning day for GWS, playing against some quality opponents. Jamison gives the Blues another chance. Cruz has been busy as a target so far. Walker, Arnfield got through.
Great shepherd from Walker.
Crowd, big roar as they love that protection work going on. Here's Bug to try and sneak away. Did no favours for Smith. He ran crash into the brick wall, but earned himself a free against Gibbs. So Devon Smith goes short, finds Taylor Adams in the back pocket.
Just at ground level here, Hutto, it looks like Carlton are trying to make a bit of a physical statement early. Every tackle has a bit of extra sauce on it, and every bump being made with vigour.
It's a good way to give them some focus, isn't it, in a match like this, I suppose?
Well, we saw Andrew Walker about 20 seconds ago up in Callum Ward.
Yep.
It's terrific.
You spoke about Thomas Bugg pre-game, Spud. He's got a big job too on Andrew Walker, and Walker looks very dangerous early.
So far, the Blues ball use hasn't been too flash, though. We've seen a couple of misfires into the 50. They lead with the only goal of the match so far. Hard to get past this brick wall for the Giants. Dom Tyson, get the man he was after. And there's Bauer crafting a kick to half. Thought Armfield can let loose into the pocket again. They had a couple coming hard. Walker was one, Thornton the other. Under pressure, Homps, who's been a really impressive defender for them so far this year. Linking up with Bugg. We know he can find the footy. Tried just to show some composure here. This is Shield, very highly rated youngster. Over the top to Tyson as they are building. Carlton have got an extra couple behind the footy here for him to contemplate and try and get over. So he loops it up for Davis, who had the size and strength advantage on Dygan and used it to his advantage. Scully, who's started alongside Simpson, guides it to full forward. Henderson in front, over the top. Good contest from O'Halpin. And nice backup, though, from Jamison.
Satan didn't read the kick.
No, he actually pointed where he wanted the ball, Spud, but then he allowed Henderson to get there first. He telegraphed where he wanted the kick and then didn't get there.
Let's have a look at the shepherd, Andrew Walker on Callum Ward. That's aggressive football.
Yep.
Brett Ratten would love that.
And that's the attitude they need to have. I mean, they've got to be hard at it. Try and put this team away early.
Tui. There was no path for him there. Some of it's being returned now. GWS laying some good tackles. Murphy trying to thread it through. His Shield breaking again after the work from Devon Smith. Back into the middle again. And keep it alive. Shield. Multiple efforts was good. Good tackle from Scully. Not enough to stop Robinson. Getting it to Tui. Under some stress here, the Blues defence. Robinson thumped into the ground by his former teammate Satanta O'Halpin. Of course, it never really worried him if they were teammates or not, did it? Even when he was at Carlton.
He'll be looking to make a statement as well. Satanta O'Halpin.
Good aggressive tackle, like.
Article in the papers today about he was a little bit confused about the decision to let him go, so he'd love to make them feel that they're missing out on something.
Cornelio gets it in there. Played 80 games, of course, with the Blues, did Satanta. And in some ways, last year was one of his, probably why he was confused, last year was one of his better ones when he played in terms of numbers and so forth. He had pretty solid output. But the Blues felt in the end they had to let someone go as they were working their list. Here's a quick little flashy work from Toby Green, another one who's impressed so far this year. Comes to North, though, and now Scotland goes to work off half-back. And Simpson charges out for him to give something further afield. He's got grander plans, though. Eddie Betts, crowd get on their feet as they watch Eddie go to work. He spins himself dizzy there and decides in the end that passing to Andrew Walker is a pretty wise move.
What GWS have to be aware of is the counter-attack from Carlton. They're opening up the space behind, and one thing you shouldn't do is let Eddie Betts get goal side. One of the quickest players in the competition. You've probably got to play 5 metres goal side of Eddie Betts and just let him get the hit-up lead, but not over the top.
So Walker, as we said, back with a couple of goals last week. And that strike is away to the left. He's on 96 goals, Andrew Walker, so it wouldn't be beyond him to get to 100 today if he has a big afternoon out.
Have a look at the big heavy shepherd here as the chase comes across, and it's Garlett that runs about 30 or 40 metres to clear the passage for Heath Scotland, and that's what you'll love to see.
Careful ball use on the way out.
This is exactly what they need to do, Hutto. Just chip the ball around, soak up some time, stay composed, share the footy a little bit, because there's going to be periods where they don't have much control. Use it while you can.
Devon Smith down along the line of the wing. Jamison hacked back by Joseph. Smith comes again and he'll earn himself a free. Overzealous effort there from Tui.
He read that beautifully, Devon Smith.
So they've done okay so far, GWS. They've seen 10 minutes go past. They haven't scored, and that's obviously going to be a massive issue for them today. But Carlton, just the 1 goal so far.
Gee, I like the start that Phil Davis has made as a forward. He's contested everything. He's getting his hands to everything. He's finding a way to get to the ball, get to the front position. Looks likely that he might take a few marks.
I'd like to see him if the ball gets down there on Dygan at full back. He's definitely got a height advantage on Nick Dygan.
Pushed right up here, the forwards, haven't they, GWS? You can see just how many numbers there are around the ball. And Brogan is the man closest to goal at the moment. Just to the left of screen, he's on the 50. Just spreading a little more now, slightly. Maybe the Blues would like to see a little bit more spread so they can get into the open And this is how they do it, with handball and run. Cruiser. That's not that well placed, and again, Moore should have that covered.
Well, that was well read, and that's where the Carlton are opening up the space, and as a defender, you need to protect the dangerous space, and Tim Moore did on that occasion.
Good pressure from Armfield, a late change of mind, and in the end, the turnover was forced. Wasn't a great kick from Bug, and Simpson's going to line up for goal. Nice work by Robinson.
Well, that's going to be the issue. You turn the ball over in that area of the ground, it's going to come back with interest.
Just those small touches of experience, even in the defensive work, can be so significant in these contests. As we're watching Cade Simpson now, as we mentioned, 150 consecutive games. It's a wonderful effort. Started when the times were as tough as they have been ever at Carlton, and he's worked that one through.
Well, it's a good start for Cade Simpson. It's his 150th consecutive match today, and that in itself is an outstanding effort. Just shows how durable and how reliable his form has been. But they are very good at punishing turnovers, and you could just see how quickly they push forward. They read what their teammates are doing. And Mitch Robinson, he just looked up as soon as he intercepted this ball. He has a quick glance forward, and there's Simpson pushing into space.
He's had a real purple patch. 34 disposals, 7 inside 50s the last 2 weeks.
Cade Simpson kicks Carlton's second goal.
Already we're seeing a GWS game plan heavily based on possession. They've had 42 touches. Carlton just 30, but Carlton lead the inside 50, 7-4.
I like the fact that GWS are going one-on-one, though. You know, you could probably try and protect your defence, but I think the best way to teach youngsters is to go one-on-one.
That could be trouble for the diving Devon Smith, but no, the umpire decides it's not. It did seem that he dived on the ball and didn't get it out, but we'll roll with it. Giles down in the Allard direction. In danger. She's come back a little bit in the last year or two as an umpire decision that seemed to be extinct for a few years. Bauer takes the mark and then maybe wishes he didn't play on. He's prone to the odd lapse every now and then, Paul Bauer, just to cause a few heart palpitations for Carlton fans. Henderson, ever growing in his position. Nice delivery for Kane Lucas. Now Dygan, so inch by inch the Blues come carefully along the city wing here at Etihad Stadium.
Cruiser's pushed forward to try and make Giles play as the defender, and that's a good move from Matty Cruiser from Carlton.
Back to Kane Lucas. Wobbly old ball into the pocket, very haphazard looking kick. Homps had his hands full though. Eddie was buzzing around again down there. Moore linking up with Green, who just arches the back at the appropriate moment. Gets himself into the clear. There was not a lot of margin for error with a kick like that, but Cornelio good enough to take the mark, and so the switch has been affected. Taylor Adams, who came in for his first game last week, kicked a nice goal too, shows plenty. Along the line for Davis.
Oh, it's got to be a free.
Well, there's nothing called. Good backup from Adams. He needed to lend some support desperately in there for Smith. Relentless tackling from the Blues and the crowd urging on every one of them.
Phil Davis, I thought it might have been a chop of the arms.
Yeah, it probably was, but he also dropped the mark before the chop came. He really should have taken that one, Phil Davis.
Mitch Robinson up as the unlikely ruckman. Parried back into the maze. Robinson again. Here's Reece Palmer trying to get himself into the clear. McDonald helps them achieve that. Green worked it back for power. And Satanta and Davis both there, being forced to come right up the ground to try and be in some sort of position.
Just at this stage, guys, the GWS have not been able to switch the ball, haven't been able to bring it back through the corridor, which, as Danny pointed out in the pre-game, is how they've scored. You'd like to see them take a few more risks.
They're finding the going difficult here. Russell, Robinson. Oh, there's a strong mate. He's a good defender, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a good type.
King's right in saying that because they've got lighter bodies, so it's easy to run the ball and carry the ball. If you're continually going down the line to a contest, the big Carlton bodies will eventually wear you down. So you've got to look for the switch such as this all the time. Take an opportunity to get the ball out to the open side.
Here's Adam Kennedy getting himself into trouble and decides to use his feet to get himself out. It didn't really achieve much. Robinson along the line. Betts takes it, wants to move it. Lucas within striking range, steadied himself, perfect poise. Lovely goal, that's number 3.
Well, Kenny, that's exactly what Adam Kennedy tried to do, but then he didn't pull the trigger.
He didn't have a go at it. It was there to be used, there's no doubt, Danny, but he didn't back himself, and I think that's the one thing we need to see from these young guys. It's just the intent to take the game on. If it doesn't work, well, so be it. But playing safe and have it fail is the disaster.
Well, that's the direct result. You know, if you're going to make a mistake, make a glorious one. He probably used the safe option and end up kicking to a 2-on-1 under pressure. So take it upon yourself to get the ball to the open side.
So Kane Lucas becomes Carlton's 3rd individual goal kicker. Now they've pushed one back behind the ball here, GWS. So already a slight change of plan. Carlton happy to keep their man extra up in the midfield. Back themselves to get it down there. Dygan's handball errant though. Little hurry kick from Green after some nice work from Scully. First or second real opportunity deep in the forward line. Satanta had his hands full. Hampson, who he knows, Mercura, well done from O'Helpin. Looking for help outside, didn't find any, so again he's right back in the thick of it.
Certainly working hard. Satanta Albany was involved 3 or 4 times there underneath, and he's got to do that bullocking work. He's got to do a lot of the hard yards up forward.
They just need some repeat entries inside their forward 50 and eventually hopefully get a score on the board.
The old ruck infringement.
Well, here's a chance to get one for them. Dean Brogan playing just his 3rd game for the GWS Giants. 177 games in all. The former Port Adelaide ruckman, 33 years of age, you can see there. And 50 goals to his name. It's a tightish kick, but certainly one that they needed to make count, and unfortunately, not even a score for Dean Brogan.
No, it's disappointing. We've got Satanta Halpin and Dean Brogan here at the stoppage, so I'd let Satanta take it on Lockie Henderson, a clear advantage.
Well, they've got another opportunity here, and another one gets burnt. James McDonald.
Just caught the wrong side of the ball.
Well, we've just got to take their opportunities, don't they? You know, we talked about Phil Davis, the drop mark early. Just take your chances. They've had a couple of opportunities here to kick a major.
They've been inside 55 times for just the one behind thus far. Carlton 9 entries for 3-1. Brogan held on to it for a long time, and eventually he got himself over the chalk.
And you want reward for effort. I know we talk about little wins, but the huge win is the scoreboard. The scoreboard doesn't lie, and you just need to see that tick over now and again. So they must take their opportunities.
Now Brogan and Hampson. There's Allard thrusting it out, but the young man in his first game, Liam Sumner, is able to get on the end of it and get it deep. Hampson comes again. Terrific stuff. Unfortunately, runs straight into Heath Scotland, and the Blues might be able to battle it, but battle is the underlining word here because GWS working so hard to keep it in their forward 50. Jamison gave it straight back to Taylor Adams.
Well, that was good pressure. That was the pressure from the forward line caused that turnover.
So Adams decides that the moving Giles was the best option.
It was a beautifully weighted pass too.
And he's been good at getting forward and taking marks this year and kicking goals, Giles. He's got 6 to his name, but it's a bit of a disease at the moment.
Both teams kicking below 60% efficiency at the moment.
Power crafting a ball into the middle.
This is better. Switch it to the open side and take the game on.
Oh, it's a handball which didn't do any favours at all for Reece Palmer, but somehow Little Bug gets out the other side. And that's about where the jury ended.
He was clear and he ran back into traffic. He had a chance to kick the ball forward.
Well, Bug was caught that time.
Yeah, that'll come back because Zach Toohey was bumping the bloke on the mark, and you're not allowed to shepherd the man on the mark until play-on's been called.
Now, back to Aaron Joseph, who Danny was the Bug catcher on that occasion.
No, he certainly was, Hutto. Little Thomas, he's been in terrific form, Thomas Bug.
Oh, that's a soft tackle.
Yeah, that's...
And so he breaks into the clear, gets it deep, probing ball, Cruiser. Look at Eddie at the back, it doesn't get to him because Cruiser marks. Eddie Betts was just sitting there going, he was licking the lips thinking it was just going to come into his hands, but big Cruiser gets up and takes the mark.
Tell you what, Zach Tui's gone straight back to Jonathan Giles and given him a gobful. I mean, Giles had him cold on the boundary line and he brushed aside a pretty feeble tackle. They're really trying to dominate physically and mentally their opposition today, the Blues.
The runner's gone out to Giles too, Jace. Obviously just to keep him up because he's dropped a mark about 30 seconds before that, and then that missed tackle there.
So lines the ball up. Very deliberate action into his routine. Cruiser comes in and it's catchy. He misses away to the left.
He started well, Matty Cruiser. Here's the tackle again that you're talking about.
He's got him right up against the boundary line and he just fends him off. He should have crunched him.
What had to happen was go at least a boundary throw in, put him over the boundary line. Tried to tackle him with his fingernails instead of his torso.
Kennedy. Oh, Henderson in a line of 3 Blues. That was a nifty little pass back. Close to being a throw from Robertson. Simpson sets it up. They'll go again. Walker looked the most likely that time. Couldn't quite drag it down. So Kennedy comes out with purpose with the handball. Not sure it was actually meant for Cornelio, but he took it anyway. And now Hampson in some space. Can he use that liberty to his advantage? He's ducking and weaving, waiting. Homps has pushed really hard to get forward and give him something. Jamison with the edge and strength and experience, though. Took it onto his terms and takes it over and out. But great run from Homps to get all the way down there and give him some sort of target.
And Sheeds needs to send the runner out, so that's better. Get the ball to the open side and let your footwork and your skills do the talking.
So the margin is 19 as it stands. Gibbs rucking and roving down to Betts, who looks like he could tear this one apart. Gets it down to Cruiser. Got through to Walker. A little bit of a shuffle in the pocket. Thornton. He realised that the pressure was building on him and they were closing. And he maybe just rushed it a fraction. 3-3-21 to 1 behind. Quick kick in and they're away.
Let's protect him.
Keep running.
Yeah, great run from Shear. Look at him go with a couple. Suddenly the ambition's got greater and greater. Hampton, I thought he possibly could have taken on himself and gone for goal, but he goes short. Finds Sumner, who can have the shot for goal.
Gee, that's terrific movement of the footy. From the quick kick out after the behind was scored, they used the corridor all the way. And there was some great run and carry. Dylan Shield, I think it was through the middle of the ground. He's got good pace, isn't he?
Class player.
He's also a fantastic chase from Cruiser. They had to shepherd him 3 occasions to stop his run. Didn't let a spell after that, Cruiser.
Oh, his first game, Sumner already has 1 kick. This is his second. Can he capitalise and show his more experienced counterparts how to do it? Yes, he can.
Well done. Sandringham Dragons, you see all the GWS players get around him. That is fantastic play for the youngster playing his first AFL game. But I really love the thing he talked about. Just look at the run on Cruiser. It took 3 or 4 efforts there. Now, we didn't get him, but it's a great effort. But the thing I liked about GWS's play was they took the game on through the middle of the ground. If you're going to make a mistake, make it trying to get the ball to the open side or through the middle of the ground. But that's a terrific.
So Liam Sumner becomes the 18th GWS player to kick a goal for the new club.
Been a move here, Hutto. Phil Davis going down back onto Matthew Cruiser.
All right, well, they've got a goal on the board, a bit more confidence, and the margin is 14 at the moment.
Well, they've weathered the early storm, GWS. That's all they've got to do is they need to get into each game and not get blown out in the first 15 minutes. I think 3 goals to 1 isn't a bad start for them, given a couple of those goals for Carlton have actually come from GWS mistakes and turnovers.
Well, they're going to get another opportunity here. Outnumbered is Hampson.
He's an improved player.
Out of sight, Lockie Henderson, hasn't he?
He's just been terrific. And the thing about him, he's growing in confidence. He's not afraid now to take the front position. When you're starting out of the key defence, you're reactive, you're sort of just, the easy position is to take the trailing position, but he's not afraid to take the front position, which comes with confidence and experience.
Free to Mark Murphy for some holding. If we consider that Henderson now is a bona fide defender, that makes a real difference to your assessment of Carlton and their premiership chances, surely, doesn't it, with he and Jamison down there as the pillars?
Well, no doubt. There's a lot of question marks on Jamison's body, so they've got the luxury now of having 2 key defenders, and you do need 2.
But then you throw your good...
Walker!
He's a chance to take mark of the year today, and he will at some stage. I was just going to say, you've also got as he goes for the short pass to Garlett. Not a good option.
Garlett hasn't seen much action so far. Oh, that's a great tackle from Murphy to lock it in there.
He's only had the one tackle. Hello, Garlett.
Toby Green in the thick of it. Scully tries to put his weight into it as well. Green goes again. It's a scramble and a scrap in there. Power uses his evasive skills to move it on at half a metre or so, and that's about it. Have a look at this Andrew Walker mark.
Thank you. Straight up, Devon, Andrew. Thanks, guys.
He's just got a wonderful natural spring, hasn't he? It's
Great athlete.
great to see the players being encouraged in recent years to use that. Murphy just got unlocked at the right moment. This is some terrific run and dash from Toby Green. Gets them into the clear again. Now Reece Palmer, you can see him really considering what was ahead. And he pretty much got it right for Brogan, who just couldn't oblige. And again, Henderson gets the job done. Uses Russell, and now Gibbs, who pauses, and now sends it on its way. Didn't do Armfield any favours at all. Powers there to close it out. Shield can't quite escape the clutches of Lucas, but did a good enough job to get it to Power safely into the middle. Time was on the side of Palmer, who got some good protection. Carlton does well not to give away the 50, Digan. Palmer works the angles. Out to Hampton. He takes it. Just on the brink, 60 from goal.
Brogan deep on Henderson.
Can kick the footy.
Move it on, play on.
Decides not to try with a long bomb instead.
Good courage.
Oh, and got a clip for his trouble too, and Brogan's hurt himself.
He's hurt his hand or
He's hurt
his wrist.
Yep.
On the Scotland head.
So Heath Scotland, driving kick to the wing, Cruiser, waiting.
Plenty of numbers back for GWS. They've got two back behind the ball, loose, Davis and Moore.
He's coming off, Brogan, boys. He's in trouble with that wrist. No doubt there's some sort of break there, I reckon.
Oh, terrific grab from Thornton. It's over for Armfield now, running in. It's wobbling, but it's coming back. Not enough.
He grabbed it straight away, King. You see him coming off of the trainers and the doctor, the right wrist there. It's got sandwiched in between Henderson and
Bent
Scotland's
backwards.
shoulder.
That could be nasty.
That's nasty. Oh.
That could be broken.
This one's coming back. Jamison, rare chance to intrude into the forward line. And misses.
Well, they're hanging by a thread now, GWS. They've got to be a little bit more careful with their use of the footy.
See Brogan there in the hands of the doctors.
Eddie, stay out.
Short stuff on the way.
Stay out, Eddie.
Shield.
Eddie.
Still had more possessions than Carlton, GWS, but Carlton have had twice as many inside 50s.
Play on.
The kick to handball ratio vastly different as well. The Blues basically twice as many kicks as handballs.
Yep, you like to see that.
Sumner has been good. Bauer has to come from the side against O'Helpin.
Well, that's what Carlton need to do. They know if the ball goes to a contest, they're more chance of winning it because of the bigger bodies. So to kick the ball more than handball is a good thing when you're playing against inexperienced teams. That's why GWS are probably running and carrying and using their hands more.
Taylor Adams fires it into the pocket.
Terrific kick. He actually made O'Helpin get to where the ball was dropping. Now, this could be a massive kick. If he can put this through, they have really gone into massive damage control because they probably should be 4 or 5 goals down. Just saw moments ago, Phil Davis came off, or he was trying to come off, and he stood and looked at the bench with arms up saying what's going on, but probably doesn't realise with Brogan coming off, and that means there's only 2 rotations there, and they were players that had just come off that were completely spent. So they'll have to make a decision on whether they sub in for Brogan.
No closer. Yep.
So Satanta, who of course played forward and back for the Blues over the years. Big kick, big moment for GWS. Have a look at them. They're coming from everywhere.
Satant.
He's kicked one after the siren. It's after the quarter time siren, not the final siren.
It's all right, it'll do, Hutto.
Oh, it will. And they're almost running through the Carlton huddle after that. They're in business. They're only 10 down at quarter time. Sets it up to the square. Cruiser comes, couldn't get there, but Betts in his milestone game did. Lost his footing. Cruiser, Walker, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty sharp. They're on the board. Betts takes it, wants to move it. Lucas within striking range, steadied himself, perfect poise. Lovely goal, that's number 3. Well, that's all it's been so far for the Blues. 3 goals, 5-23 from it. Quite a few opportunities, 15 inside 50s, but the GWS Giants certainly not disgraced. And a goal after the siren, much celebrated from Satanta O'Halpin in his first game at his new club, has taken the visitors within 10 points in their first outing here at Etihad Stadium. Jason Dunstall and Danny Frawley. What'd you make of it all?
Oh, look, thought the Blues were a bit wasteful in front of goal. They had some opportunities. GWS playing a high possession game, just not really efficient when they go forward with the footy.
GWS have won the clearances, contested possessions.
Yep.
I think that's all Kevin
That's exciting,
Sheedy
isn't it?
could ask if we see that Mark Williams talking the truth. We'll head down to David King.
Thanks, Danny. Just having a close look down here at Dean Brogan. Obviously, he was caught up in that marking contest. Heath Scotland running back with a flight, and he threw an arm out, an elbow out. He did make contact with the back of Heath's head, which was a little win for him at that stage, but then he realised may have done some damage to that forearm. He came off the ground. He went back out to the huddle. He thought he was fine. He had a quick wink and a chat with us, but I think the pain has just kicked in. He's just made his way back to the bench here. Not sure whether we'll see Dean Brogan again for the rest of this game. He's getting some work done now on the elbow area, so he's in some pain. Does take a long while for ruckman to feel pain, Danny. Usually 5 or 10 minutes for it to set in, but it's in there now. Yeah, the blood flow takes a lot longer to get up there, but Sam Reid, interesting enough, he's the substitute. You can see his right arm there, heavily bandaged. He's still got the substitute top on. Sam Reid there, so they'll assess him over the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, it's okay to strap it up, and look, it'll be terribly courageous for him to come back on, but when he gets a knock on that, he'll go through the roof.
Except it's open today, Jason.
He'll go through the open roof.
Yep.
Up to half forward, and there's Jamieson who takes the mark. And then goes to Robinson as they look to advance. I wonder what Brett Ratton said to the Blues at quarter time.
I would have been disappointed with the clearance work, Hutto, and the contested possessions. There's no doubting that. And Carlton pride themselves on those two facets of the game.
No, it's something that GWS have really been able to match, most sides with in that area through their first 5 weeks in the competition. Ward, Canelio, some good tight stuff again. And they're thrusting forward through Taylor Adams. They're helping. Nothing for them short, except Sumner, who comes whizzing through and had an opportunity. He did duck. The umpire was there to read that. Hampton up against the line, but anything's possible.
The 2 entries inside 50 to GWS went to Davis and O'Halpin, and they both went to the defender's advantage, not the forward. That's the thing that they really need to work on with their entries inside the forward 50.
Oh, Giles. Just for a moment, I thought Hampson had come over the top, trying to wind his way through Devon Smith. Interesting, if we look at the top 5 disposals in this game so far, and GWS have got 3 of the top 5. So, as we said, they're getting their hands on the footy.
Yeah, look, then they've had 102 possessions to Carlton's 82. They do play a high possession game, lots of handball.
Henderson got the tap. The Blues left it behind, though. McDonald are helping again.
Oh, in-step talk.
Look at that! Oh, he could patent that.
That is a classic in-step talk.
The spiral was absolutely...
A reverse torpedo.
It was absolutely perfect. Great handball. Great handball from James McDonald. You just see him around the ruck contest there, and he's tried to get up, and he's mistimed it. And
touch early.
Well, he knocked his teammate over, which was good. That's why there was no free kick paid. But then have a look at the handball here from James McDonald was absolutely terrific.
Oh, that is one of the great goals. I was watching him in the warm-up. He was practicing his left foot shots at goal. None of them went like that.
That's the perfect inside torpedo.
Yep. And they're back to 4 points, and it's game on here at Etihad Stadium. Murphy, let's see what the Carlton response is. Jordan Russell wades his way through, and Carlton now, maybe through Dygan, can click into action. Garlett, who, as we mentioned, very light on in the first quarter, no disposals. There's his first, finds Bryce Gibbs, just about within range here, the Blues.
Hard gut running there from Gibbs.
Done a good job on Garlett, Luke Powell.
Maybe it's beyond Bryce Gibbs this range. Looked hesitant, but now he settles over it.
Just a metre.
Spinning around on his hands. That's just the 1-1 so far this year. Still just 23 years of age, and that just eases away to the left.
Got the distance very easily. I mean, that's gone 2 or 3 rows back. I think sometimes it just becomes a mental issue with the players as we watch their Carlton president, Stephen Kernahan, watching on. Just got to trust yourself that you're within your range and then not try and overkick the football.
Moore, he gives it plenty.
Oh, he's a beautiful long kick, isn't he, Tim Moore?
You just wonder how he escaped the attention of other clubs. Really, he's 23 years of age, and they're hard to find, those key defenders.
He's got good leg speed, and as we just saw then, he's a prodigious kick.
They turn it over, the Blues, and Palmer, he just goes for territory, hoping he might be able to get it out of bounds, perhaps.
That's all he could do, Palmer, with that kick. It was 3-on-1, Satana helping there. So the half forwards for GWS, okay to lead up, but you've got to get back and re-engage your half-back flank defender.
Into Russell, they look to switch here and maybe take the corridor. Dygan drifting down to half forward was Joseph to sneak in front of the intended target. Simpson, he just presses go, gets it in there quickly and hopes that maybe the chaos work might have got to their advantage. It didn't, and Dom Tyson was able to take it out to James McDonald, and they're often trotting again. Jamison with a wrestle. No helping.
Oh, he's been terrific out
He's
helping.
been good.
He hasn't lost a contest.
He's what they've needed in the first 5 weeks, isn't he, really?
He's halving the contest. He's not winning too many in the air, but that's all you want from your key forward. Don't get outmarked. And we've seen in the first 5 games, a lot of their forwards do get outmarked because of the lighter bodies. He's got a big body, Satana helping.
And often they've been outnumbered as well, and he can take on battles like that, as you said, and try and come close to at least breaking even. Simpson was outsized by a helping there. He might be able to sneak in. No, Ward beats him to it and has a bounce. Again, fairly audacious stuff. But it's a high ball. Hampton is in front, and he didn't go for it in the end. Joseph showed him what to do.
I think we need to see the senior... Oh, poor kick here, but I think we need to see the senior bodies of the GWS bounce the ball, Hutto, just to keep the confidence levels up for these younger guys.
Gee, that was smart play by Heath Scotland, particularly, to get the Blues out into the clear. They just seem to be watching each other a little bit at the moment, the Blues. Not quite up for it, and they're just a little bit off their tucker. Weeding his way through and waving through is Dygan. But he misses to the left.
Gee, they're wasting some opportunities in front of goal, and you can see the frustration on Brett Ratton's face. He knows that there should be a much bigger margin between these two sides.
Well, 19 entries with 3 goals is not a great return.
10 scoring shots, so they're scoring 1 out of every 2 times they go in there.
Dean Brogan just making his way back onto the ground, boys. That's a great sign, and I think that's great leadership to come back out under that sort of duress.
It is, Kingy, but let's keep an eye on the first few contests that he has.
Okay.
There he is.
I reckon that he's going to be under serious duress when he's got to put that arm in the fray.
So Hampson in the wrestle with Giles. Goes again. Playing well is Devon Smith. He's right amongst it. Got it to the wing. It's been hard to get past here, and sheer weight of numbers have helped Carlton's cause. Sumner, he's done some nifty things and
good overlap.
Yeah, does some more as he gets Dom Tyson off and running. And they've got Palmer into the clear. The bolt is on.
Scully
going to be hard to stop here. Scotland needs to use all the smarts.
Well done.
And they could be on level terms with the Blues here.
Well, the beauty about that build-up, they use the extra man. They use the overlap running to get to a one-on-one. Nothing the defender there for Carlton could do. That was terrific mark there from Scully.
So Tom Scully puts it through, and the scores are level at Etihad Stadium.
Well, this is fantastic from GWS. Absolutely terrific play. Started this quarter, they both had 4 inside 50s for 2 goals to GWS, only the 2 behinds from Carlton. That's the difference at the moment. And Jace, we talked about the use of the ball. The start of this second quarter, 73%. GWS using the ball. Carlton, alternatively, only going at 50%.
Yeah, and that would be frustrating, Brett Ratton.
Well, who would have predicted this? Well, nobody, I don't think, as Tom Scully has been winning plenty of footy, and I think the criticism, I guess, has been it's been a lot of uncontested footy, but he's an undoubted talent. Let's hope he can fulfil that talent as he helps to lead this GWS team. What a terrific start. Scores level now. The Blues, maybe they'll be stung into action. Carlton starting to move and create a bit of havoc. Tries to get at the Betts. In the end, he has to go again himself. Armfield, he can't really get into the clear. Neither can Walker. Armfield, good persistence. Decided to work it to the top of the square. And it was an unfortunate slip back there from Hobbs.
Well, looks like they've poked the bear. GWS by kicking the first 2 goals in the first quarter. You just see the intent there, nice and early from Carlton after that centre bounce. But I've admired McDonald, Ward and Palmer at the start of the second quarter. The senior players for GWS have been terrific.
So Brett Thornton from point blank range puts it through. And Carlton's 4th goal gives them back the lead.
But there's a bit happening off the ball as well. After that ball was kept alive and Armfield got the ball to Thornton, it was Andrew Walker who was following Luke Power, having a real go in his ear. And young Thomas Bugg comes over and gives the biggest hip and shoulder to Andrew Walker. Gave him a real serve. And it's great to see the young GWS players sticking up for themselves and their teammates. They're not going to be dominated by the Blues, who are trying to really get on the top of them mentally and physically.
So they didn't hold the lead for very long, or in fact they weren't on level terms for very long. Carlton's response takes them back to a 6-point margin.
Umpire's down.
Joseph out of the clutches. Hampson just bundles it on. Simpson,
Walker.
The setup was complete, but he fumbled. And the handball is astray. And again, GWS able to get their hands in and on the footy. Good tackling from Cornelio.
Well, it was an errant hand pass or a little bit of a fumble, but that's what the Blues do best when they break from a contest. Their ability to spread forward of the ball and link up with hand passes, seen them kick countless goals this year, and they threaten to do it again there, except for a little fumble.
We remember back to Hobart, Danny, when we saw North Melbourne carve up GWS with handball.
Well, they didn't. I think that's why they've gone back to the one-on-one, Hutto. They played the extra man against these experienced teams, and they'll cut through the zone far too easily.
Robinson waits it. Betts decides to stay down and not get in the road of his teammate, who was up. Came Lucas and able to fly.
Well, Thomas Bugg just lost the body there in that situation against Simpson. It's just the experience of Simpson getting his body in the right position. But Thomas Bugg tried to have half a piece of the ball and half a piece of the body. You've got to be really intent on making the ball your object or the body. He tried both, and he was found wanting on that situation.
So Lucas comes in from 20 metres. Shouldn't be a problem for him, and isn't. Carlton's out to a 2-goal advantage.
So I thought that was Cade Simpson as Lucas. Beg my pardon, but it was just a terrific use of the body. And look, young Thomas Bugg, he's been terrific in the first 5 games thus far for GWS. But you can just see the centre clearances here, getting the ball into that situation. And Bugg just losing the body there. He tried to use the arm to get Lucas in that situation. Lost him, and Lucas just had the strength and awareness to take a terrific mark. But importantly, Carlton have won the last 2 centre bounces.
David King.
Just had a look at Heath Scotland. I reckon he hurt himself. He rolled his ankle when he was in the marking contest with Tom Scully just in the goal square at the other end about 5 minutes ago. He's been downstairs for treatment. He's limping a little bit. He is back out in the ground, but he's under some duress.
Sub is young Josh Bootsma, who's on debut for the Blues, as GWS need to respond and go forward. And they're doing it through Sumner, who guides it. They're everywhere in there. And Toby Green comes up with the goods.
Terrific running. Reducing the hands.
Good work in the centre circle there from Dean Brogan. Gee, he is battling courageously.
Hold that line, Toby's on the mark.
So he's been the leading possession winner per game so far this year in his 4 games. 26 disposals as well as 3 tackles each game. His kicking efficiency hasn't been a great strength, so this will test him here at Etihad Stadium. Kicking from outside the 50. He gives it plenty, and it just slightly astray. Carlton, we can't see it at the moment because they're all up the ground, but they've gone fairly short up forward at the moment, the Blues. With all their smalls back now. There's
Good pressure.
Big turnover here. Well, and Hampton's just the man to wield his way out. But James McDonald not even going to get a score for that one.
Well, Junior's tried a couple of snaps on the nominal third.
Yep.
Probably look for, try and get on your right or just give the ball another quick hands out the back.
A long kick out went directly to a one-on-one, and that was easy fodder for Homst.
Well, that was interesting because the rest of the players all bunched at around the 50-metre arc, but on the edge of the corridor, and it left that whole wing side open. There was a long lead that came from about 50 metres away.
And there are just so many numbers around this ball. Gibbs just bundles it around the corner.
I haven't heard the play on call.
Yeah, Kane Lucas paid the mark to himself, and everybody else just went with
Out of
it.
bounds.
Ran out before he kicked it. Kane Lucas is a player that looks like he's enjoying a bit of continuity in his football. He's had some injury issues. He's broken into the side now, and the more he plays, the better he looks, the more comfortable he looks. And I think he's going to be a valuable addition to the Blues lineup.
He used the ball extremely well, Kane Lucas, by foot.
So Cruiser. And there is Heath Scotland. He'll test out his ankle.
I reckon the umpires are starting to get it right as well now. When players are getting the ball low in the contest and charging with their head, they're not getting the automatic high contact free kick, and I like the way the umpires have adjusted.
Yeah, agree with that. Murphy gave it straight up, stripped, and Bugs kick into the 50, followed up by Green. Quick kick. And again, just slightly away, but they've owned the footy for the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, this is a good period of play where they're actually keeping the ball down their end of the field, and that's what you want to do. Bring your press right up and then create stoppage after stoppage and scoring opportunities. They just haven't been able to put one between the big sticks, but it's been a really good passage by GWS.
I think their setups defensively have been very good so far this year.
Great tap there from Brogan.
Scotland, and trying to wind his way through was Tyson. One more handball into Claire McDonald. This time, make sure of it.
Oh, he's missed 3.
Well, that's you need to get the ball in the hands of your good, Curtling Hampton these times. It's a beautiful tap.
That is sensational. Straight to Scully, over the back.
And again, there's a massive bunch up.
Yep.
You've got to take your opportunities.
They've got their outriders in place.
And not necessarily kicking to huge advantage. Cruiser couldn't drag that one down. Simpson overran it. Allard got Garlett there with him if they can get it out to him. Here he goes. Garlett, but he had no one to kick to at all. And that is a perfectly placed ball. He made a talk then.
James McDonald's done an extremely good job on Kate Simpson. He's only had the 3 disposals. But gee, wouldn't his job be going really well at times if he's hitting the scoreboard?
Don't block.
So all the players are pretty much other than one pair are on that side of the ground. They're all down the line along that city wing. Jordan Russell with a bit of a push and a shove on Taylor Adams, but got away with it. Cornelio not finding any exit there, and not being penalised either, so it's a ball up. And there we go, that just shows.
But you look at the structure here, Hutto. Defensively, they're very good. They've always got an outrider, out wide, a sweeper. He's got off the ball to Murphy.
Murphy's gone down.
He went down easy there, boys. I was just watching that. Any remote touch on his back, he just fell to ground. I think they're exploiting the rule now. It's gone the other way here with Murphy.
Bauer heads for Cruiser, who just couldn't cling on to it, and again, ticked for
Let's have a look at the Murphy situation here.
Oh,
no.
Give me a break.
Thomas Bug did everything you'd want as a negating player in that situation.
I think because he put his arms around, though, the umpire wouldn't have known. There was the non-controlling umpire too, so he's called it from 50 metres away.
It wasn't a grab,
grip, was it?
Gibbs goes for Betts. Oh, Power claimed the mark. Umpire saying no.
Needs protection here.
Shield decided to run and then thought better of it. Thought maybe just lay it off.
Do they look a better team when they play out to the open side and really switch it?
Trouble is, too many players just looking for that short inboard kick and nothing further afield.
Inch by inch, they get it down into the arms of Taylor Adams, and this should be all Carlton. Davis has it thumped away. He's had no real impact up forward. He has given them a target.
He's competed, and again there, he's only had the couple of touches, a couple of handballs, but he was 1 against 3, and he's created a stoppage.
So the Blues are doing it tough here at the moment. It's great stuff from GWS. Murphy turns quickly on the right foot. Robinson looking for a free. Doesn't get it. Help from Kennedy. And quickly, swiftly, they take it through the centre. Shield. Oh, that's not great. And Bauer's able to intercept. He's trotting away. He might go all the way here, Bauer. He wants to. You can see it in his eyes. He sniffs the goal and he makes sure of it. How about that?
Terrific goal. Dylan Shealy, you can see they're trying to get in the corridor, but you don't go in with extra numbers.
They actually had 3 players there and he just missed them all, Spud.
Well, it was an ordinary kick.
Poor kick.
I still think it was a pretty ordinary decision. I just thought there was too many Carlton players around. I think the open side was the better option. But Bauer, and that's what you need to do. You need to make them pay. I think Brett Ratton would be a little bit more relieved now that Carlton, just the last 5 minutes, have been really on song with their intent.
Well, that's the man that got the nod over Satanda O'Halpin.
Yeah.
When it came to the list position, and he's making every post a winner as well. He had one thing in mind when he got that ball. He just set sail for home, didn't he?
He had 2 or 3 he could have possibly given it to, but I guess these are the days when you can possibly do that, although they really had their hands full with the determination of GWS. They take it out now to 16 points, the Blues. Hampton just fell over the footy.
Dygan getting the ball in. He's free for Carlton, so it'll be just interesting to see what happens in the next 5 minutes with Carlton having the extra player.
Poor kick. It was, and Toby Green's able to make it, maybe make them pay. Nice little spin too from Smith to keep it alive. Went for the stabbing pass. Simpson heard the call from the umpire that it was touched. They try and bolt out of defence. Then at a good bounce here, Simpson went to ground. No free kick. Didn't panic. Jordan Russell. He's looking for the voice and finds it in Henderson. Out on the wing. Thornton to try and make sure it's not out on the full. He just flings on in front of Hopst. And there's nothing for him to go to at all here other than cruiser down the line. He's got 2 to contend with, and in the end he was forced to thump it back.
Well read by Tim Morph, the defender for GWS on that occasion.
Thornton, Bauer, too far out to score this time. Goes for a kick to half forward. Gibbs was outnumbered, tried to lock it in there but couldn't. And again, Sutton are able to create some havoc for them. Davis hoping for a free. Hampton sensed a bit of an opportunity. The Blues just got the fumbles back again. And a lot of it's due to the pressure and perceived pressure of GWS. Hampton, you never quite know what he's going to do next, and that confuses everybody. And that's a nice little pass. Canelio's able to accept it from Green, who's been terrific in this quarter.
You see the frustration on the face of Heath Scotland. There are a number of GWS players pushing into the 50 looking for that short one, and he's saying, well, where are all our blokes? Someone's got to come back and help me out. It can't pick up 3 of them. Needs to kick this. They need this to get back in the contest. Carlton just threatening to break away.
6 minutes 20 on the clock. Canelio. And again, just the wrong side. So they've had some big opportunities in this quarter. 2 goals, 3, and there's been several.
I just put this on here. He's got handball receivers on the inside, 2-on-1, and get the overlap to get the ball to 30. It's okay to go in the corridor, but when you've got that extra overlap runner, use him.
Well, again, the Blues not able to dictate terms on the way out. They've earned themselves a free here, but it's been all hard stuff, hasn't it?
Copped a nasty knock there. I think just winded himself a little bit. There, cruiser.
And he's quick to lay the handball off so he can recover into Russell. The Blues haven't really been able to switch effectively either, have they?
No, it hasn't been good kicking by either side. They're kicking at 54%, Carlton, GWS at 48%.
Bauer to Henderson. He takes it into the corridor, and that's successfully achieved. Walker with the dish for Joseph. Slight hesitation. Crowd warned him. Up towards the big arms of Hampson. Couldn't make the gather. Cleared the path. Simpson sensed an opportunity. Robinson went with the flow. Eddie, nice little nudge. No cigar though for him. Power put the head down. Simpson, was it too high? It wasn't. Now Simpson gets rolled over, and we're going to have a bounce. They look ready to go, the Blues, but they just can't ignite, can they?
Just not hitting their targets. Hasn't been a fluent performance thus far.
A lot of numbers around the ball here.
Bit of credit to GWS as well.
Oh, a lot of
very
credit.
competitive.
I like their defensive structures, GWS. They're making it really difficult for Carlton to get any flow in their game.
Like the way they haven't taken a backward step. I mean, Carlton tried to dominate them. They've tried to be physical. They've verbally tormented them, but they've stuck up for themselves and been prepared to give as good as they get.
It's just wonderful signs for what could be ahead for them, isn't it? I mean,
well, there's no doubt the #1 criteria is to win your own ball, and they're doing that.
Lucas, no, he can't pinpoint a pass either.
Well, he can, just not to a teammate.
Yeah,
oh, look at that
Shield, who butchered it, to be honest, on the way out. Tui could have just tapped it to his teammates' advantage, decided to take possession of the ball and found the going pretty difficult. Davis, ducked the head, and it does look like he's been hurt, but...
Hello, I just wonder why the Carlton side aren't giving the ball more air going inside the forward 50. Give it a bit of height and allow the bigger bodies to come into effect.
He copped a knee in the head there.
Henderson and Jamison combining.
Did he duck into that?
Well, he did, but he was endeavouring to pick up the ball. And it was accidental because it was the player coming in to compete for the footy, but I reckon he's copped it. You can just see him, it stunned him a little bit. He cops the knee.
Helpin gets it down, and again Toby Green was involved. Davis has recovered enough.
King's point is right. Early on, when you'd see Carlton going long, we talked about their kick-to-handball ratio. This quarter they've been intent on just possessing the ball, Carlton. Get the ball down there long and strong to a contest.
Bauer's probably their most creative player at the moment. He's the one that's more attacking in his mode and mantra at the moment. Back into the middle.
Carlton's quarter about 1 kick, 1 handball. That's been the ratio.
Oh, again, they miss. Gave Walker no real opportunity there. Ward farmed it up, and GWS will escape again. Delicate for James McDonald, who pumps the handball out to Brogan, who got clean bowl.
Nutmegged him.
And that's over and out.
The disposals this quarter are fairly even. For the kicking effectiveness, GWS, though,
terrible.
Well, I treated this the first 5 minutes. It's terrible now, 45%. How can win too many games going at that in a quarter of footy?
Well, they're persisting. Devon Smith sets it up. Davis is deep. First job done by Bauer, but there's still a live Sumner. Just, maybe should have gone for it himself.
Yeah, he tried to chip it.
And look at Davis. Look what he turned it into. Turned it into gold.
Well, he was very unselfish, Sumner, wasn't he? He looked like he was going to have the left foot snap. Then he tried to chip it over to Davis, and in the end, it was just an errant little kick that went nowhere. He just sees him late and tries to chip it. Cops it on the outside of the boot. Don't know if he got all of that either, but that's a good little finish for Phil Davis, and he finally gets a little bit of reward for the hard work and all the competing that he's been doing.
Well, Liam Sumner's been a great debut. You talk about using the ball, 9 disposals, going 100% effectiveness in kicking a goal.
He's made a terrific debut.
Gee, you've got to be impressed with what GWS have done in terms of managing Betts and Garlett up forward for the Blues. Eddie Betts has had 4 possessions, Jeff Garlett 5, neither's on the scoreboard.
Oh, it looked like they were coming again out of the middle. Some serious contact there too.
And the issue for them, Jason, I think it's been a concern not only this game, they've only had the 1 tackle each. I think their defensive pressure hasn't been at a premium like last year.
Let it go, let it go.
Well, Garlett's up the ground at the moment on the wing, trying to get involved here. Scully finds Armfield.
It's not as if they've had enough opportunities, because the ball's gone in Carlton's forward 50 26 times.
You see the way Scully got rid of that ball. He had 1 arm free, just put it out there and dropped it. And the umpires are happy if the ball comes out, they're happy for play to go on.
Which seems at odds, doesn't it, too?
Well, I guess they're saying it's incorrect disposal, but he didn't have prior opportunity, so I'm happy to let it go.
Well, he's had to work really hard for his possessions too, because Dennis Armfield has kept Scully to only 6 disposals. So some upside there for GWS.
Joseph up towards half forward. Bauer's having a run in the front half at the moment, it seems. There's a high tackle on Toby Green. And called on, so he has to retreat even further for Sumner. Back for Kennedy, I should say.
1 on 4.
Yeah, and it's Jordan Russell who comes up with the goods. Now, where to next for Russell? He decides to go down the middle, maybe chance the arm a little bit. Joseph out for Garlett, not perfect, but good enough. Thornton breaks. Eddie Betts is back in the goal square. He'll be in the mind of Garlett, who just treads some water.
Good corralling from Power.
Good run from Walker. He's gone long and high, so King would be happy with that, but he just telegraphed it a little bit.
That was outstanding from Luke Power. He knew that Garland had him beaten for speed, so he just laid off him 5 or 6 metres and corralled him and forced him to kick the ball high. That's experience. That's what that is.
That's someone saying, I'm not letting you get goal side because then it's all over.
When the afterburners light up, I'm in trouble.
287 games worth of experience as Eddie Betts has it ripped away from him. But Walker wins it back for the Blues into the square, but Hobbs.
He's a beauty, though.
He's impressive.
He reads the play well. Horton's only had the 6 disposals. You know, he's playing a senior player.
Again, they bunch at half back. Brogan over the top, Gibbs. Scotland as they wind their way around here.
Every player is virtually in the defensive 50 here.
They're not working at the moment, Carlton. They're not working hard enough for mine.
Big ball. Now, away it comes from Simpson. Tracking it all the way back to the line. Lovely spinning tackle from Giles not to give away the free.
He did well, the big fella there. He waited for Simpson to pick it up and then he rolled with the turn that Simpson put on him and he got low enough not to give away a free kick. He doesn't look impressed, does he?
He's probably wondering, what do I do at half-time? We're in front by 10 points. I just think the work rate there, that entry inside forward 50 for Carlton, we had 3 Carlton forwards going for the 1 ball, which means they're not thinking about working hard for each other.
The biggest problem at the moment is the clearances, I think. 27-17, and Carlton have been the second best clearance side all year, and they've been shown up by a young GWS team.
So the margin is 10 with 38 seconds to go. They've levelled this quarter with the Blues, 3-3 each. Carlton will get one last chance perhaps to win the quarter. Simpson maybe bit off more than he could chew. Armfield forced to improvise. Tough going here again for Thornton. He did it well. Great collect, but just misses Scotland. Lucas over the top. Back to Scotland. 17 seconds now. Digan to try and strike. Goes wide into the pocket. Garlett and Betts. Here's Eddie. Inside, outside, inside. Out.
Good pressure there from Adam Kennedy.
He's done a great job on Eddie Betts and Power on Garlett. They have been brilliant.
Don't hold. Play on.
Mitch Robinson winds up, and that'll do. That is half-time.
Good quarter of footy for GWS.
And the Carlton crowd not happy. Not happy at all. So third quarter. Let's see how Carlton respond. Out into the open. Cornelia able to track it beautifully. And got good support from Bug. So to half forward, Jordan Russell got crashed into. The umpire waved them on. Lets them play. A bit of tackling and cuddling going on all at once, and we'll have a ball up.
Done a lot of bullocking work, Phil Davis. I mean, he's competed hard. He got there and made the spoiler without giving the free kick away. That gives him a stoppage instead of a rebound for the Blues.
Arms around Sean Hampson's kick.
So Big Giles obviously has to carry the ruck load in this second half, although Satanta can help out, I guess, as he did for Carlton often. Russell, and the link was good for Joseph, who decides that he can take this on himself. He'll be bold and kick it deep. I'm not sure about the wisdom of that.
I tell you what about the reaction from Jeff Garlett? He just threw the hands up as though to say, what the hell was that?
And I don't like that either, Jess. I think that his team out of the ground, he obviously didn't see him, so you just need to play team football.
Now they can swarm forward again. Garlett demanding it long, but he decides to go by hand initially. And Walker stretching out, goes to Garlett. He's got away this time from Shield.
It's a better kick, better lead.
It's slow to turn around, Jeff Garlett. Now Mitch Robinson has to go because he was all on his own in the corridor. It's really annoying when players take a mark in the forward line, just turn their back to play thinking they're having a shot for goal, because he has to kick it now. He had a better option in the corridor.
You see the replay down the bottom, he doesn't look at all.
Not at all.
And so he needs to goal, and that's not what eventuates.
And Mitch Robinson has another couple of words. So you don't like seeing that either, the players having a go at each other, because they are making mistakes. They're not playing anywhere near the brand of football they're capable of, and the frustrations are starting to show through now.
Well, they're only little signs, aren't they, that they're just not completely switched on.
So Power got them going, and with some help from Scully, takes them up to half-back. Suddenly the ball's up to the wing. To help him. Now this is Reid, the sub. Sends it high. Hampton. Gibbs with plenty to do. Couldn't quite get there, but neither could Hampton completely get the job done, and Gibbs just pushes him aside. But he persisted, and that pressure meant that the kick was far from perfect. And Murphy, with a bit of a speculative handball, helping.
Oh, he's in trouble now.
Ducking and weaving, and he gets a free.
I thought he ducked when he was on the way down, and you just see Russell there really frustrated. There was no doubting there was contact.
There was.
Did Satanta initiate the contact by ducking?
He was trying to avoid the tackle, and he ducked, and he got a clip on the head. And again, whether you agree with the decision or not, you see the good fend on Henderson, then he does duck. No doubt about that. There's nothing Jordan Russell can do.
No,
Cannot pay that free kick. Really.
However, Satanta Halpin has the benefit of the decision. He can now kick his third and really get them going.
And it came about by Mark Murphy's errant handball to nothing.
Similar spot from where he kicked one.
And wouldn't this one be sweet for Satanta if he could put his third on the board in his first game for GWS against his old side and take them to within 5 points? Oh, and he can't. He can't. So the margin is back at 10. Bryce Gibbs looking for a way out for the Blues. Henderson. For the moment, they're locked in the back pocket. Switch has been effected to Russell. Jamison drifts outside defensive 50, and he decides to go with it. Betts was clear at centre-half forward, but he went for Garlett instead, and Power was onto that, got away and uses Kennedy more. They've just been reined in a little bit here. They need to be good with this kick, and they were, and Homps was able to take the mark. And he had a plethora of options. Takes one of them. Green's able to bolt, quickly move it. Big one-on-one here.
A good hand.
That's super kick too. Better ball use early from GWS.
Devon Smith.
We know they were competitive in the first half, but the thing that let them down was just their ball use.
He lofts it up. Phil Davis can't find his way to the front. Nice buffering work from Dygan. And Russell decides to ignite. You can see that they are intent on being more aggressive with their ball movement, the Blues. But it hasn't amounted to anything really yet for them.
No lead-up targets.
And no run from behind here at all. Robinson fans it out wide to the wing. Dygan. Still no clear advantage for them ahead other than that short little one-on-one.
Garlett in space, and Luke Power's playing 5 metres in front of him, trying to cut the lead off.
Hampson pushes back to the goal square. That will be his preferred option, although it does go curling into the pocket. Bauer playing from behind, so he's still in the forward line, Bauer. Let's see what he can make of it. He got that early goal. Hampson, it should fall for him here.
The defence for GWS, they're just spectating the ball.
Jonathan Giles got caught ball watching.
Well, that's just inexcusable. When you're watching the ball, you've got to have a direct awareness of where your direct opponent is. He was in line with the ball kicker. He had no idea where Hampson was. That's inexcusable.
So Sean Hampson, as good as, directly in front of goal. In his 50th game, taking him 6 seasons to get there. He's become a big goal kicker for them this year. That's his 9th for the season.
Just remember this mark at the other end when Phil Davis went for the ball.
Did he get shepherded out?
Well, Dygan.
He did.
Well, Dygan watched him and then turned. That's a free kick. If he had to put his hands in the air, Dygan, that's a dead set free kick. But this one here, this is really disappointing from Giles. You talked about, Jace. He's just watching Bauer, and then, oh, there he is. It's too late. So you've just got to have touch and feel in front, then you can watch the ball. If not, just play behind. So I thought Davis was hard done by in that marking situation at the other end.
There's a big turnaround, and if Davis had been paid the free, we could be looking at a 4-point ball game. Instead, Carlton's lead has extended to 16 now. Giles following up as Hampson was in the ruck. And we get another stoppage. Clearance is still in favour of GWS overall, 27-20. And they lead the contested possession count by 10 also. And that continues as Giles hacks it forward. Gibbs, you can see him.
He wanted to play on, didn't he?
Twinkle toes there, trying to sneak away. Scotland. Joseph. Now Jamison just delays his release. Scotland, Tui's pushed on for him. And that's the angle that he works. And he realises he just was given a metre. Let's see if he can take some more advantage. Not really. Walker, it's confined spaces for him there. The pressure is relentless from GWS too. He improvised as best he could. Bauer also got it moving for the Blues, and that's a pretty good outcome for them, really. Their ability to get players around the footy has been outstanding today, GWS.
Some really good tackles in there too. And they're holding their own. The tackles 57 to Carlton, 46 to GWS.
Brett Ratton in the coach's box this half, spent the first half on the bench.
And there's Ward, easing it back out onto the wing.
Winning more of the ball, the Blues. They've now had more possessions than GWS.
Jamison for Bauer.
Well, that's what they've got to do. They've just got to kick the ball inside their forward 50 to a contest. They've got the body strength. Utilise that.
Well, Bauer decides to pass.
That was a bit easy.
And Robinson takes the mark. Still no certainty from here, though.
Their forward setup, boys, has been a bit strange at the start of this term. They haven't had that deep, tall target. I know Cruz has been down there, but he's been leading up around the half-forward flank wing area. Just that big body in the square, I think, is a bailout kick. Would have been utilised 3 or 4 times already.
Mitch Robinson, 4 goals, 5 to his name in season 2012. Looking to improve on that here. Like the look of it off the boot, and it looks even better now.
Much better start from Carlton. The beauty of their start in this third quarter, they're winning contested ball. You see the first mark here. It was a terrific kick, and I like that. Just kick the ball to a contest, maybe a slight hands in the back, but not enough there. But you're right, Jose, that was far too easy. Good blocking there from his teammate to Mitch Robertson, but they've won the contested ball. 2 contested marks. I would really be telling the midfield for Carl to get the ball down to a contested situation at every opportunity.
One of the skippers for GWS, the latest to need some remedial work, Phil Davis. That's not a great sign as the Blues extend their lead to 22, and Paul Bauer has been involved in both goals so far in this quarter. Free kick to Cal Ward. Hampson has to try and get back here, and did he give away a free? No, said the umpire. And so Carlton can escape. Crowd start to get a bit involved as Murphy feeds it back for Simpson. Haven't seen those two combine as much as we expected. Garlett being reined in, maybe illegally. In the end, it sits on the boundary line and goes over.
It looks like it is a permanent move forward for Paul Bauer. He's playing one of the key forward posts now.
They have started to get a little bit of run off half-back in this third quarter as well, the Blues. They do look a bit better when that happens. Look at Armfield really digging in hard there. So I suspect they've got a little bit of a tongue lashing at half-time in some sort from their coach.
Well, Simpson was one player and Scotland fairly quiet. Cade Simpson only had the 9 disposals. Callum Ward and James McDonald double teaming him, so the Judd factor's really had an impact on his performance, Hutto.
A little bit of work done on the big toe there for Phil Davis. I don't know how he's going to get that in the boot. That is quite a bit of taping.
Fantastic shot too, isn't it? Great to get that close-up look. If you like toes, that is. We know that toes can be dangerous too for big men, as we had the turf toe, didn't we, last year from Aaron Sandilands? There's Hampson. Now into the space. Can Eddie Betts run onto it? No, he can't. Callum Ward again finds a way out. And there's a good result for GWS.
Just hanging there. I mean, it's a margin that they don't look likely to erase GWS, but they're really fighting for longer periods in games and not getting blown away like they were in the first few weeks of the season.
Well, the thin numbers up there. Carlton have got 1 extra. Gibbs, tough for Scotland, but the buck was passed effectively. And now Jamison, who really does play a crucial role for the Blues, both defensively and probably more importantly even attacking. And I guess the work of Henderson back there has allowed Jamison to become more of an attacking weapon for them. Here's Tui. He did wonderfully well to work himself onto the footy. Might get it back again and cause some more havoc further afield. Betts is running. This is where he likes it. Can he scoop it up in the pocket? He does that. First mission accomplished. Second, yes it was. Away from Kennedy. A bounce. Come on, Eddie. Finish it off. No, he can't.
Talk about working in a confined space. That's some serious footwork from Eddie Betts. Dancing along the boundary line. A little two-handed bounce once he did get clear. Just didn't have time to thread the banana through.
So Adams bringing it into play, and now they're away and running again. This is Dom Tyson taking GWS up to the wing. Gibbs been a thorn on their side in this quarter. Henderson comes to add some extra weight for the Blues. Walker, maybe it was intended for Cruiser, and it opens the door for Cornelio.
Oh, got to kick it long to Davis.
Well, he's away, is Phil Davis, and he should take this.
Well, Jamison just come off the bench,
yeah.
so they wanted to make that change, and that's when the coaching move looks great, or it can turn sour very, very quickly. And Michael Jamison there with his hands on his hips.
Good decision from Tom Scully. He had 3 or 4 handball options on. They could have run and carried, but Davis had worked back into space, and the long kick beats them all.
So Phil Davis comes in, shouldn't make any error from there, and that's one back for GWS.
Well, they needed that for their confidence, Hutto. Carlton started the quarter really well, having 4 shots at goal for 8 entries. They've only been inside their forward 53 times, the GWS. It was good overlap again. Great vision from Scully, knowing that Davis was on his own, getting the ball there quickly, and Jamison just comes into the screen on the left of screen. He was coming on the bench, sprinting as hard as he possibly could, but couldn't get there. So that's a very good build-up, but great for their confidence, because I think just after half-time, they were a little bit complacent, GWS. Hopefully that get them going.
So 2 goals for the afternoon. It's been a good move, hasn't it, really, Phil Davis?
He's competed well, showing flexibility and the ability to play at both ends.
Yeah, without Folau and Jeremy Cameron, they recognised they had to do something, had to give their team a target as well as the return of O'Halpin, and maybe that's ignited them for some more action. Toby Green on the angle, works it back to full forward. Dygan didn't complete it. Hampton threw it, really, and Smith pounced, but it's only a behind.
Still creating some good opportunities, a good front and square there. They will not lie down. You've got to like the way they're persisting now. They're learning to make their efforts last longer.
Well, their score sources, GWS, Carlton, David King talked about pre-game, 4 goals, 3 from stoppages. GWS, Carlton only the 2 goals, 4.
Palmer, Hobbs timed his run to perfection to make the intercept, and he's the one that fires it in towards full forward. Reed in front, tries to claim it. Oh, Green gets gobbled up there, and we'll have a ball up.
Where Carlton are really putting GWS to the sword, out of their 8 goals, 10, they've scored 6 goals, 6 Carlton from turnovers. GWS only the 1 goal, 2. So they're really not hurting Carlton on the turnover.
Cruiser, Green just got a little arm around momentarily, but no damage done, and it's out of bounds again. So this quarter, Carlton have kicked 2-2, and the Giants have kicked 1-2. And Davis goes down, looking and hoping. Oh, Armfield sat on top of that, but he realised his quandary, got up. Still sitting in there.
He's in a bit of trouble, Hutto, I think. He hasn't moved.
Oh, this ball's going to nearly land on him.
It's going to land on top of me. Oh, they'll have to stop the play now.
Yeah,
he hasn't moved.
They've called for the stretcher.
Yeah. Well, that's disappointing because they've already lost Brogan, their #1 ruckman, and now Satan is going straight off the ground. So
cannot put any weight on the left leg.
So what has really been a terrific day for him has turned sour very quickly.
Landed awkwardly, and
then the
Cruiser may have landed on him as well.
I think when his foot landed, Cruiser's weight went on the inside of his knee.
So they've held play up, but he's not off the ground yet. So, I mean, he's still in the thick of the action potentially here. So I'm not sure what that all achieved. Shield.
Not a lot.
They might be able to achieve a goal here because they're lining up GWS. 1 man down and all. And they want some more. It was just a little ambitious. And now it's up to Bryce Gibbs, who sets an enormous task for Allard, who was up to it. Paddles for Scotland. Wait for reinforcements. Lucas, he also didn't grab the ball. You can see what he was trying to do, but he wasn't able to affect it. And the crowd impatient again as GWS continue to show grit and determination. A lovely little shove. But in the end, Green couldn't take the mark. Smart play. He just did all the hard work.
Hutto, finally Satanda's found his way to the bench. This is ridiculous, this rule, because if he had any blood on him, we would have stopped the game. But because we're carrying him off with 2 trainers, the game's allowed to continue 1 player short. It's dangerous.
Well, it's one or the other. If you slow the play, if you stop the play, you have to wait surely till he gets off the ground. Digan. Carlton's got to climb a bit of a mountain to get there. He got held.
Yeah, it was the speed factor there from Luke Power. You look at the replay, Luke, during the week, and he actually did all the hard work to get there. And then Garland actually spilt the mark. You see, he just assumed and just pulled him down with the other hand. Getting back to King's point, I think the umpires assumed that they're going to walk Satanda straight off the boundary line. It looked like that to me too, but then they walked him inside the boundary line.
Yeah, and so in fairness, the teams do have the opportunity to call for the stretcher as we watch Garland poke this one across the face. But they obviously don't want to do that because it means the player can't come on for a period of time.
Just have a look at the left ankle, goes down at an angle, and then on the outside of his foot, Matty Cruiser lands with all his weight, and that's going to put a lot of stress on the joints, the tendons.
I just checked his knee out, Jace, his left knee, and I think they've put a line through him. I think he's been ruled out for the rest of the day. He sits down next to their first pick ruckman in Dean Brogan.
Oh, that's disappointing.
So it's going to make the task all the more difficult.
Well, it's all the more reason why Carlton should now kick to a contest.
Here's Murphy from the pocket. Stabbing kick. Oh, it was almost perfection, but a poster. So 2-4 for the quarter to 1-2.
Yeah, they're helping often Brogan. Now they should get the ball as quickly as you can to a contest because their 2 biggest bodies are on the bench.
So Power on the way out to a 1-on-1. And here's one of their big bodies that remains on his feet, Davis. Some help from Sam Reid. He'll be full of beans after starting as the sub. Sumner has been so impressive. Takes this up to the wing. That's good as well. Good to go. And the ball spread wide from Smith out to Green and then back to Sumner.
From Davis if they can get it through.
He's just showing it around a little bit, Devon Smith. Tyson took it into the middle, and here's Moore up from defence. And they've worked it pretty well. Adams and wants to go for one more. And that looks all right too, Sam Reid.
Yeah, the sub on the ground. He knows a very good grab. Good gut running. He started around the wing.
You can really get a picture there for the way they want to play. They really want to keep possession. It was one short chip after another. Almost looked like they were going to overuse the footy, then a chain of hand passes, but they've worked it inside for a set shot. Really good controlled play.
Well, he's come on, and in a very short period of time, he's done a good job, Sam Reid, and that's not his best effort. Joseph, ooh, they were all around him. Here's Green, he's had a wonderful quarter. He's had a very good match, and he's up to 19 disposals, Green, or 18 disposals.
How strong was he in the tackle there?
Too quick to kick out, he's got to go back.
But getting back to Toby Green, he just stood up in that tackle and then busted through. That's a terrific bit of play, as we see the 2 tall players, Brogan with the sub shirt on and Satanda there with his left knee. Ice pack on it.
Just want to talk about the Carlton work rate here, guys. I reckon it's dropped right away in this 3rd term. They just don't seem to be spreading with the same intent that they would against the Collingwood or Essendon. We've seen the recent weeks. They just seem happy to and content to have a 17-point lead at this stage.
Yeah, a few of them looking for the easy kick too, Kingy.
Yeah, spot on.
And best describe that, David, as the handball receives. You'd think Carlton with their 3 or 4 pre-seasons of gut running would be far and away greater than GWS. GWS have had 92 handball receives. Carlton have only had 71. That's work rate.
Oh, good tackle.
Hampson somehow got it to Simpson, who's got nothing to kick to in the forward 50.
Look at the chase from Giles.
The big man came. He was protected in the end. This is within striking distance for Simpson, but another miss.
Tell you what, we just got an idea of the athleticism of Jonathan Giles there. He strode out, and he was reeling Cade Simpson in. That was a serious chase. That was a chase with intent.
The only trouble with Giles now is no Satanda to do the ruck work in the forward half and Brogan off the ground. A few more runs like that might the reserve tank might be called on a bit earlier.
Well, he's going to compete again here.
High ball. Walker. Oh, line handball from Murphy doesn't amount to anything. Well, it does if you barrack for GWS. They're off and running again. Adams takes them wide for Bug. And now the run from Shield. He's got Scully inboard. Sam Reid pushing down. They've outnumbered them ahead of the play if he can get it deep enough. And Joseph not paid the mark. He just heard that in time because otherwise he was going to get gobbled up. Scotland or Cruiser had to wait longer than he would have liked. And they have numbers at the footy again. Kennedy, Giles made life awfully difficult there for Palmer. Bauer pressed pause for a moment. Then he saw in his sights there was a player in Simpson out wide. Garland on the bike, pushing up the ground.
This is the one that has to go to Cruiser. He's got Giles against him in the square, boys.
Goes wide instead to Thornton. And he pokes it in.
Oh, well done, Luke.
It was a little predictable. There's a fumble from Simpson. Mitch Robinson has the goals in his sights. It's ugly, and it's a miss. And they've kicked 8 goals, 14 now, the Blues.
I agree with David King 100%. I know that Thornton got the mark on the boundary line, but you've got Giles who's getting double, triple team now with Cruiser in the goal square. Really put the GWS defence under the pump, and if he doesn't mark it, it allows Betts and Garland to get to work.
Well, they continue to move the ball so almost effortlessly, really. Palmer running now and gunning with Scully through the middle. Green's
switch.
out on this side if he can see him, and he can. He just couldn't get over the big mountain.
No.
Mount Hampson in the middle.
He didn't have the 55-metre kick in his legs, Tom Scully.
They got the backup numbers through the middle of the Blues. Mitchie Robinson again. Showed it to Walker and decided he'd go long to full forward. Well-placed ball. No mark down there for Lucas. And again, they are defending grandly and getting run from the deepest of lines. Bouncing out was Bug. Back to the wing. And here's Cruiser with the mark for the Blues as they can reload. Gibbs.
That's the beauty of Cruiser. He's also forward. He reads the play extremely well, kick behind the ball.
A big thumping cross for Bauer, who can fan it wide for Scotland. He wants something further, more ambitious in the pocket. Walker. And a free kick against Walker. He goes to Moore. It's been another good quarter for GWS, you'd have to say. Even though the margin is extended out to 19 points. Shield.
Again, Carlton, though, inaccurate in front of goal. 2 goals, 6. They've dominated the quarter, but it should be 6 goals too.
But they haven't been easy shots, though, Spud, really, have they? Not simple shots.
No, that's true. That's true. It's the pressure GWS are putting on them. It was probably what King talked about, that kick to Thornton in the pocket. Again, in the pocket there, and GWS are putting pressure on, but don't be afraid to go to the top of the square when you've got an opportunity.
Well, Brett Ratton will like to look at that tackle. Here's Eddie Betts again. Just not getting the space that he becomes accustomed to with his burning pace. Have they got enough numbers on board here, GWS? It comes to an end. Good tackle too, because it didn't want to give away the free kick in haste. It's not the best of handballs though in Scotland. Well, in the end, he did well just to break even.
They've been very close a couple of times, GWS, to linking through the middle of the ground with hand pass and taking it all the way. Just a loopy hand pass here or there, one that takes a little bit too long to find his target, that allows a Carlton player to come in and close it down. But they really are playing a good, exciting, attacking brand of football when they get the opportunity. Not afraid to take risks.
Now, blood rule, there's no ruckman.
Well, Phil Davis will have to take the ruck, so that's where Hampson just needs to body up on Phil Davis. But what GWS have to do now is look for the third man up, because Carlton will definitely win the tab with just those two guys.
To Hampson, he knows that, hits it into the space. Allard, can they help themselves to a late goal? You'd suspect so. Thornton.
A bit disappointing. I think the GWS midfield has just had to go to the defensive side of the contest and say, we're not going to win this one. Let's make sure they don't clear the ball with the hit out, as they did, and get the quick kick forward.
The Doctors will be working overtime on Giles to get him back on the ground.
Just having a look at their scoring chart here for Carlton, inside the 45-degree angles from goal, so we call that the corridor area. They've kicked 6 of their 8 goals. Outside of the 45s, they've kicked 2 goals, 7. This is where they score their goals.
Okay, Thornton does just that. Carlton get a late one.
No, David King's absolutely spot on there, and that's what they need to do. But yeah, the stoppage is really disappointing with Giles off the ground. Just allowing that quick kick forward. It should have at least had some air on it. There's not a lot Homsch could do that in that situation on Thornton. It at least had to have some elevation on the ball, just that quick kick forward. If you're in front, you're going to get the ball. It's a great play from Thornton, but just the work around the stoppages, GWS have been extremely good, and they need to do it again now because the centre bounce, you've got Hampson v Davis again. You know you're going to be going to a situation where you're not going to win the ruck contest, so you really need to play defensive footy.
It's been a big day for Phil Davis, hasn't it?
He's had to do it all. He can barely jump there at the centre break, and the time is going to come for the siren. It's going to come at a very nice time for GWS, who look, well, I wouldn't say out on their feet, but they've got a big task to stay competitive in this last quarter. They will have earned a lot of admirers in what they've done today. The Blues, not at their best. 9-14-68, play 6-7-43. We're back with the last term very soon. Carlton were the hot favourites here at Etihad Stadium, and it was certainly hot early on. They had an aggressive frame of mind. Lucas kicking an early one, and it looked like life would be tough for the visitors. But the casualty total started to mount, with Dean Brogan going down first. But in the second quarter, the visitors showed their pluck, and Satanta O'Helpin kicked one before the siren and after. And suddenly GWS were really putting a challenge down for the Blues, who looked on the back foot, except for Paul Bauer, who gave them some run. But Phil Davis answered, and at half-time, the margin was just 10 points. Into the third quarter, and with GWS starting to tire just a fraction and more injuries on the way with Satanta going down, life became a little more difficult, but still Carlton not making the most of their opportunities, and the lead at three-quarter time is just 25 points. And GWS, the Giants, the new boys in the AFL, have earned a lot of respect with another terrific performance. Carlton, though, in front here by 25 points at Etihad Stadium. Jason Dunstall and Danny Frawley have bared witness to this day, and as I said, I think even though the margin's 25 points, GWS have shown a fair bit today to the rest of the competition who would be watching.
Well, they've lost no admirers, GWS. I've loved their work ethic. I love the fact that their stoppage work has been outstanding. 35-22, they've won the clearances, and that's against some pretty handy players. No
Brogan and no O'Helpin now is going to be the issue for GWS. Giles went off for the blood rule in that third quarter. He's going to have to play forward, double team in the ruck, so we'll head down to David King.
Thanks, Danny. Just watch Kevin Sheedy when he made his way down to the bench just prior to three-quarter time. Really happy with the troops. 19 points down just prior to that last ball up at about 70 from goal from the Carlton side, and he just lost it. He just went right off at his troops, and rightly so. They were really disappointed with their structural side of the game. They just didn't have that extra defender down there just to save that last opportunity with about 15 seconds to go. But they're really happy, really content down here, but a big task, as you said, without O'Helpin and Brogan playing this last term. Sam Reid subbed in, and you can see the Carlton side have made their substitute as well, with Henderson coming out and young Bootsma getting his opportunity in this last term.
Yes, son of Brad Bootsma, who played for Fremantle. Here's the bench. Josh Bootsma, who was their best player in their VFL team last week, who got a fair spanking at the hands of Port Melbourne, I should say. But they've rewarded him.
Well, it's an exciting time for him, and he'll enjoy this experience. He's certainly got a lot of filling out to do, but it's going to be a wonderful debut for him.
GWS have been brave, but the last thing they need is a blowout in this last quarter.
They've got to hang tough.
They do. They need to hang tough. Just try and have a love all draw. Look, if you can win the game, that'd be fantastic. But the last thing they need is for Carlton to have a 7-goal-2 last quarter.
And again, it's man on man everywhere.
Now, I like the way they've done that. As I said, down in Hobart 3 weeks ago, Hutto, they had a loose player, and North Melbourne just cut shreds through their zone. So
let's see where the hunger lies early in this last quarter. GWS able to get it forward. Ward was lurking thereabout with a bit of intent, but it's Simpson that beats them to it. Kicks it out to Armfield, or onto the boot was all he was trying to achieve. Big Hampson against Power. Terrific mismatch in size. Interesting decision by Power to probably try and find the boundary line, and it might not pay off because Walker got himself into the clear. He's trying to adjust the kick, just perfect for Thornton, and he got it right.
That was a perfect kick, absolute perfect kick. Nothing Hobbs could do there. He was brave, he got the front position, but the kick was too good. That's what you need. Just kick the ball long and strong to a contest, to the younger body, and 8 times out of 10 you're going to come out on top.
So Brett Thornton, who's 28 years of age, 185 games, and I guess he knows that he's got to keep performing well if he's going to be playing for this team come September, and who knows, maybe even for in a grand final. He's got to be valuable at both ends of the ground. He's playing his role at the moment.
I think you're going to find Brett Thornton will finish his career as that third tall forward.
He's been squeezed out of the back line.
Yeah, he has.
He's got to make it as a forward now.
Well, Lockie Henderson
today.
Yeah, Lockie Henderson's obviously taking his spot down back. You've got Jamison, Bauer, Dygan, Laidler when he's fit. So Brett Thornton's best opportunity is to kick his 2 and 3 and really do some defensive pressure down on the forward line. You've got Jared Waite sitting in the grandstands, Andrew Walker, obviously Betson Gartlett, a walk-up start, so he needs to compete well.
Well, a good cheer from the Carlton crowd while that goal had been kicked. Josh Boosma on for his first run, and he goes deep into defence.
His dad played 163 waffle games for South Freo and 23 AFL games for Fremantle. Canelio generating some more footy for Green, coming off the wing. A nice kick too, well placed. Sliding mark for Palmer.
Hold there, Mitch. Yeah, right here. Mark's here, Reece. The line's right.
Couple of leads. He decides to go for one of them. Never really going to happen there for Hampton. With Bauer and Scotland, I should say Robinson collaborating. Now Dygan had to wheel his way back onto the left. He's walking a fine line with the boundary line. Walker. For Eddie Betts, he could sense that someone was coming, and that someone was Kennedy. But Betts, with some deft little moves, gets another nice manoeuvre forward for Andrew Walker, who delays the handball, gave it eventually to Simpson. He's got Thornton with him. Garlett sneaks into the pocket. Simpson sets it up. Won't be easy for Garlett. 2 to combat. Mark not completed by Homst. Good Power screaming for something.
I thought it might have been too high in his back, but good pressure there from Carlton to hold the ball in. Well done, Homsch.
And he gets somewhat wearily to his feet. Advantage taken by Shield.
Not much to kick to, so they've got to run it.
And run it they do. Bug pokes it out for Sumner. Now Joseph's going to get there, tries to paddle for his own advantage, and was able to stay upright. And he can send Carlton forward. Again, Thornton is the avenue of attack. Oh, surely that was a free or a mark.
Well, I think it was a pretty good body spoil, Hutto.
Okay.
I'd like to have a look for more. If his eyes weren't on the ball, it's a free kick. Now let's have a look at his eyes.
He did turn, you're right.
Very
He
well
got
done.
the ball.
Yeah,
Terrific
well
spoil.
A good call in from the umpire. I did think Thornton actually grabbed it in the end, but I guess you're saying that he touched it cleanly. Simpson handballs to Murphy. No way out from there. McDonald's been very diligent in his task this afternoon.
Let's have a look and see if he brings the ball all the way down. Because if he takes it at the second grab, he probably gets paid, but the ball hit the deck.
Yeah, no, it's a good call by the umpire. And again, it just shows how the skills that Moore has as a defender.
Oh, that's the difficult body spoil or spoil for a defender, running with the flight of the ball and having to turn your body and, more importantly, your eyes. Because if your eyes are on Thornton, it's a free kick every day of the week.
I think the discussion in the next 10 minutes, boys, will be the loose man, because Carlton certainly have Jamison at the back of the square here, and you feel they'll just hold possession better.
Scotland winds it in towards the square. There's a free against Walker, I think, or is it? No, it is that way. That might be 50.
Again, it's a magnificent use of the body from Homsch there. He takes the front position. That is a very good passage of play. Have a look at this. Tries to feel the body.
Yeah, good decision too.
Great decision from the umpire. The key to that, he engaged in the body work on Walker, because the last thing he wanted to do is have no touch and feel on Walker, because the next minute he'll be standing on his ear.
Russell's got to go against Davis, and go he does. Murphy. Gibbs. He sensed Walker was making his move. There was traffic everywhere. Eddie doesn't mind some traffic. How about that for a neat trick?
Oh, that's team football. Great play. Looked inboard. That was the key. That's team football. Got an excuse to do the trick to the kick along the ground, the bouncing ball, and bend it back, but looked inboard to see Cade Simpson. He was trying to work into the game. He's had the 16 disposals, Cade. He's kicked 1 goal, 1.
So the margin stands at 31 as Cade Simpson tries to pop through their second of the term, and he does that. So the margin out to a healthy 37 points now.
Well, I just haven't found the ball at all, GWS. They've only had the 7 disposals at the start of this quarter. Carlton have dominated the players David King alluded to. They've got the 21 disposal, and it's been their possession. They're holding possession, so if they get that extra player, they'll be just content on finding any free player till they get a shot at goal. Yeah, it's great vision and great skill from Betts. It's fantastic. Fantastic play. Simpson's really started this last quarter well. He's been pretty quiet the first 3 quarters. He's had the 5 disposals already in the goal in this quarter.
Cruiser up against Giles. Great timing from Scotland, gets it for Murphy. Suddenly the Blues starting to click and run. Thornton, and that was perfect for Garlett. He had a man in the pocket and he decides to go that way. Oh, well done. It stood a fair bit there, did Cade Simpson.
Good courage from Bark, but it was a very good mark. Quick ball movement. They're running hard now, Carlton. They know they need to finish this game off full of running. Terrific grab.
Oh, I could lip read that. Not attractive footy, he said.
There's a skill I didn't know you had, Jace. Here's the kick from Simpson. Oh. That won't improve the mood of the coach anymore.
Not sure you can call that a skill for Jace if he got it badly wrong like he did.
I had to edit a little bit, Kingy.
And more.
What do you do if you think GWS here, boys? What are you about here? You're worried about the scoreboard at the defensive end, or do you still need to keep scoring? What are you trying to achieve?
Take it on, Kingy. Take the game on. The game's out of reach now, but you just need to get some fluency in your style like they did in the second quarter. Taking the game on. Don't be afraid to make a mistake.
Well, that's what they're doing right at the moment. James McDonald, who sacrificed his normal amount of possessions today with his defensive role. High ball back to the wing. Simpson stands in front of Reed, stood his ground brilliantly.
Well, he's been everywhere in this quarter. This will be disposal number 7.
I think the most important thing for GWS is to learn to put in a 4-quarter effort. They need to get maturity in their fitness. They don't have the number of pre-seasons that the opposition have under their belt, so the effort's going to tell, but they've got to learn to maintain it longer and longer, week after week.
Gibbs is the long target. He's gone for Lucas instead. Cruiser arrives late. Lucas is there. Falls for more. Now Dygan should have this one covered, which he does, with a few extra centimetres. And into Allard, but still you'd think this would be beyond him. Cruiser on top of the square. Giles has got back. Gibbs is there, so they're going to wind around and find a different angle.
He'll end up going back to Jamison.
Which he does.
And this is where GWS need to man up. Force Carlton to kick to a contest, because it'll be a long quarter for them otherwise. They'll just end up chasing, manning the mark, chasing the ball around. If they at least get a one-on-one, it'll force Carlton to kick to a contest.
So he angles the kick, Russell, into the pocket. Oh, he almost got there, Hampson. What about that for a big man? Oh, he's come a long way. He has come a long way and in game 50. What about that?
That was a magnificent grab. He played on an instinct. I think he marked the ball.
No, there were different hands in between. You'll find that the ball, he actually has to steal the ball back here.
Yep.
It gets into the hands of Sam Reid and then he grabs it back, but Just wheeled around and kicked the goal with consummate ease, the big fella.
Talk about a mismatch in height as well. Look at that. Give me away about 30 centimetres.
It's playing tall, isn't it?
It's out to 44 now.
A pat on the back there from Matty Capuano, the ruck coach, Carlton.
And Robbie Warnock was, of course, supposed to come in, and he could have been able to stake his claim, but he's going to miss 2 or 3 weeks with a hamstring. He's going to have a lot of work to do if he's going to get back into this Carlton team. Anthony's become another dimension for them up forward. Shield turns instantly onto the left.
They've only had the ball inside their forward 50 once, GWS, this quarter. I reckon it was about 48 metres in, like 2 metres inside, so it wasn't deep inside their forward 50.
This is hard going for them as well. Davis.
I think it's been a lot to do about Carlton's intensity too this quarter. It's probably not a lot GWS can do. Carlton have really lifted their intensity.
Tyson. Shorts one to McDonald. Just trying to own the footy for a minute or two. It's dangerous, but effective enough.
But they've lost the overlap running. I'm having a look at a lot of the GWS players behind the ball. They're stagnant. They're stationary. They're on their heels.
Toby Green, who was dynamic in the third quarter.
Not a lot of movement in front of the ball either.
Giles used his body well and could have earned himself a free, but umpire said no. Wobbly kick from Devon Smith. Hampton worked out of it. Still might fall his way. Jamison. Good tackle from Scully. Here's Hampton. Would have been outrageous if he'd kicked the goal from there. Jamison on the last line. Literally on the last line of defence. And he's going to have Simpson in his sights here.
Great kick.
Now he could go inboard to Bauer, who's demanding it in the centre, which gives him options both ways from here.
A lot of tired players now, so there's a lot more space going forward. This is wide open for the Blues.
Crowd calling for Bootsma. And here he is, Josh Bootsma. We're in Craig Bradley's famous number 21. Kicks to half forward. Garland. And it ends with a bit of rebound off half back for Power.
Do you think that he'll get the booze like Cruiser does when he gets it, lads?
Seems to be traditional with names like that, doesn't it?
Cornelio slides into the mark at half forward.
Paul Roos used to get it. Luke Bruce gets it at Hawthorn. Matty Cruz, and now they've got 2 at Carlton.
Yeah, and Val Perovic.
Oh, woof. He was one of the greats. Big Val.
Back it goes into the maze. It's taken a while, this build-up, but it gets there to Palmer. Had a couple of options on the lead. Just a little bit too much air.
You can't kick it that high.
Not to Scully.
Oh,
he
they're
needs the
out
ball
here
to
too, the
grass.
Blues. Simpson and then Mr. Walker can go for a bit of a run.
They have got an extra defender back, GWS.
So Andrew Walker will need some reinforcements, perhaps from the side. And he goes down the line to Eddie. Betts. So Nibble on his feet. Catch me if you can. Here's Garlett. Not quite.
That was extremely well done from Phil Davis.
Yeah, kept his feet.
And through to Scully.
Been quiet. Tom Scully, only the 12 disposals. Armfield's done an outstanding job on him today.
That's not a bad ball. Reed forced to spoil. Here's Bootsma.
Well, well done. Crowd love him. But there's the impact for Satano helping off the ground. No contest in the forward half to GWS.
Scotland decked after he kicked it. They didn't need that. Free to Eddie on the 50. He might play on here. There's a vacant goal square, Eddie. Have a look. No, the moment's passed now. Phil Davis back guarding the space. And Walker.
But just to illustrate the loss of Satanta, it was just the impact that he was making when the ball went in there. They've been in there 4 times, GWS, and it's come back with interest. Straight into Carlton's forward 50.
Scotty.
Just the ability to put some pressure on. Wardy will love that.
It's an amazing thing that just happened. But Andrew Walker went and marked where he wanted to kick the ball from. He went and made a mark. You know where he made the mark? On the 50-metre line. Why do you need to make a mark there? There's a big, thick red line.
Repetition, my friend.
Oh, I found it fascinating.
Whatever works for you. He kicked
and then didn't kick from anywhere near it.
And he missed it by 2 metres. So now you're happy.
Oh, that was just the whole procedure. It was amusing.
Well, he's not amused at the moment. He should have nailed that.
Been a good player today, though, Andrew Walker. 19 possessions. Just kicked 1 goal too. But disappointing that he doesn't have 3 goals next to his name.
Davis, ever so carefully. Now Shield. Bauer made the running there, got away from Hobbs, but Giles was able to take it. Scully, I thought that was high contact. It's close as well.
Really up the ante, Carlton, in this quarter, the contested possessions. It was even at three-quarter time. They've had 20 to GWS's 12 this quarter.
Robinson, he'll take on anyone. To no avail that time. Simpson decided a handball, which was interesting. Murphy angles the kick. Eddie tried to spoil, but power was too good and used Shield, and now they've got a bit of a chance here.
Murdered the kick.
Yeah, too high again, coming through from Tyson, but it ends up with Reed, who gives it to Smith.
That's better. Great tackle from Russell.
A little bit of a sidestep from Gibbs. Gee, there's some tired boys out there right now.
Yeah,
Lucas.
I think GWS boys are just starting to run out of gas.
Stay there.
Well, if you're looking for runs, Scully's getting double teamed now. He's got Lucas on him, so you're not going to get a lot of run from Tom Scully. Double teamed in the tagging process today.
Not a heap of run coming for Carlton either. And they've made a bit of a meal of this. Gibbs in the end did well because he could see that Bauer was coming to give some backup, and Bauer's given them some bounce, some run through the middle. Thornton guides it for Joseph, the little give. Scotland's on here inboard, but Hansen smells another opportunity for a goal, and the crowd will love it as he lands a big boomer.
Three goals to the big fella. Beautifully called, Hutto. It's a magnificent build-up for Carlton. It's just been the intent. Russell started with that magnificent tackle in the defensive 50 for GWS. And Hampson cruises off the ground. Warnock being he was going to be a late inclusion, did his hamstring on Thursday, so Hampson saying, well, my spot is still here. Someone needs to get it. We know Cruz is a walk-up start, so it's out of Hampson and Warnock, and he's kicked another 3 today, 13 disposals, 5 marks. It's a great return.
So 6:52 on the clock now.
Play on. No 15. Play on.
Green. They work their way back. Power. Gibbs with a nudge and a wink. And a little poke out for Murphy, who's right on top now. But has to get some help from Gibbs, who's prepared to work all the way back to Bauer. Now he can go to Bootsma. The crowd want that, but he can spy Joseph, who might give to Bootsma, who backs back, and here he is. And he's forced a handball against another possession.
Listen to the crowd.
Oh, it's fantastic stuff. High ball for Walker. Thornton stays, well, he didn't stay down. And Mitchie Robinson went straight into the turf.
Good spoil by Phil Davis. How's the day for the co-captain, Phil Davis? He started as a key forward at different stages during the match. He had to go into the ruck for a short time. Now he's back at full back. He has done it all.
The first game had a bigger impact than Josh Bootsma for the crowd. I'm not talking about kicks, marks, handballs.
Cole's favourite, isn't he?
It's just already. I think we need to get him in early, Jace.
And here he is again.
Oh. This is the crowd. This is fantastic.
What a thrill for him. Fantastic stuff.
He's a good kick.
Here's Walker. And Robinson. Oh, don't. Oh, went through the thread of the needle for a moment, the eye of the needle. But
it's a prodigious kick. Josh Bootsma.
This could be the best 5-possession, 3-vote game you've ever seen from Bootsma.
What do you think with the blonde hair? He might have grabbed the attention of the umpire, King.
Just late in game, the umpires can be swayed. We know that. Late in game.
You idiot.
Well, it's funny because normally a first gamer, the supporters say, oh, let's have a look at the first gamer, see what he's like.
Yeah.
They've just adopted him as a cult figure before he's even touched the footy.
So Green. Oh, and there's Garlett sneaking in. And Eddie Betts. The crowd have been willing him on all day.
With 14 inside 50s to 5 at the moment.
Eddie Betts has not kicked a goal in his milestone match yet. Game number 150. Surely this will go through for Eddie. No, trying too hard. And the margin 54.
Well, they're getting smacked around the ball. 28 contested possessions to 16. Using the ball extremely well too, Carlton, at 74%. Judo, it's just the tiredness of the young bodies. Their kicking effectiveness has gone down to 59 this quarter.
Cruiser to try and work this one back down. Allard. Well done.
Yeah, that's
Big
a better
Giles.
tackle from Jonathan Giles.
He can barely move, I reckon.
Well, every week is a big test for them, but they'll
Excellent.
look upon next week as the one they've got to win. They'll say we're playing well enough to be riding that and win it. Brisbane Lions, they'll say that they can be competitive there as well, and then a couple of toughies against the Bombers and the Cats.
Armfield back for Scotland. A give to Cruiser. Armfield again. Robinson. Dygan. Betts. Walker. Now Eddie. Garlett.
Cade Simpson's really lifted his work rate this quarter. He's had the 12 disposals in this last quarter.
Thanks, Eddie.
Very quiet early in the game.
Thank you. Stay there. Play on. Thanks, Sean. Play on.
So Green takes him back out to the city wing. Palmer's got himself into the clear. Going back with a float. Tui.
He knows one way to play Zach Tui. And that's tough and straight at the ball.
Darling silly. One's on the footy.
Cruiser. Up and under from Smith. Bauer versus Hampton. The door just ajar for them here, but it's quickly closed, and Carlton are everywhere.
Well, they've just got that release player out the back. It's either Jamison, Gibbs, Scotland.
No spare down back now either.
Hampson rids himself of the defender more. Goes short to Walker. They'll no doubt be trying to orchestrate the ball into Eddie Betts here. Somehow, see if they can get it to him.
Well, Phil Davis is on Walker then, and he spent most of the first half and the forward half. He's had to play in the rack, and now he's on one of the quickest players in the AFL, Andrew Walker.
Did he mark the spot again, Jason, or not? You didn't notice?
Didn't look.
Andrew Walker, his second game for the season.
He deserves another goal. He's played well today, Andrew Walker.
Kicks it right from the 50. It's a chance. It's there. Just got home.
Well, he needed that. He had another shot from a similar angle about 5 minutes ago. It's a pretty good return. Andrew Walker played his first game for the club last week. 2 goals, 20 disposals. Just too big, too strong, too mobile in the end. It's the weight of numbers, especially with GWS. We talked about their 2 strong bodies off the ground through injury.
So some smiles in this last term. Carlton's total now 14 goals, 20 to 6-7-43. Here's Giles, good follow-up work. Hurried kick forward from Bug. Oh, there's a free
Push in
kick.
the back, Reece Palmer. Reece Palmer's kick. Will you go down? Yeah, go for it. Yep.
Well, they just need to score just to get a little bit of just to finish off the game with a little bit of confidence, because their first 3 quarters have been really competitive.
Not the longest kick in the game,
no,
Reece
he's not.
Palmer, but he'll kick from just inside 50, so he should make the distance.
He's 23 years of age. Reece Palmer, of course, from Fremantle. And it looks ugly, but the result is, well, it's going to be nothing. Well, not yet, anyway. Cruiser. And the Blues maybe get an opportunity to break off halfback. If it bounces their way, Thornton ensures that it does. Allard. I think he kicked it to the trainer up there at half forward. He saw the blue jumper. Now Eddie Betts, 1:15 and about 100 metres to try and overcome, and both of them were too much, and he can break here, Kennedy. Oh, look at Jamison. Made the running. Some tired bodies left behind in his wake to Murphy. They still have Eddie. Oh, that's not a good kick. Thornton's got to come over the top of Davis, which he does skillfully.
He had players inboard then, Murphy.
Davis. Palmer. Here's Bootsma. He's got it. And finds Cruiser too. That gets a little tick. Now, where's Eddie? Eddie's up on the 50. Looks pretty tired. There's 30 seconds to go. There's not much for him to kick to. There's the mark for Thornton. Here's Bootsma again. High ball into the pocket. It goes out on the full. So it looks like we're going to end with a Carlton victory of around about 61 points.
Still, I guess, a percentage booster of sorts, but not the sort of performance I think that Brett Ratton was hoping for. And it must have been a tough week for Brett Ratton, thinking, well, everyone's going to be looking at our attitude this week, what sort of performance we're going to deliver.
Well, there's still a chance here maybe for Eddie Betts. And he's 150th. Scotland. Carlton. He's going to go on his own with a bounce. And one more for the road for the Blues. They've kicked 6 goals, 6 to zip in the last quarter. And they've got home by 67 points. And when people pick up the paper tomorrow, they'll look and see how Carlton won. Easily we thought that had happened, but not truly reflective of the contest we've seen.
Well, Luke Power just fumbled the ball and then fell over looking for it. I think that's a sign of tiredness too, because he's been excellent today and he's had the job on Jeff Garlett. And there's your poetic justice, I guess. You make an error and it's your man that punishes you.
Well, he'd be disappointed because he had an opportunity to keep him goalless, which is a great effort when 63 inside 50s. Carlton next 4, they've got the Saints, Adelaide, Melbourne and Port.
Well, Garlett and Betts between them hadn't kicked a goal until 3 seconds to go.
So they'd be favoured to win the next 4 too, the Blues. They're in a good position.
So the siren sounds. Carlton wins by 67 points. In the end, it was a lesson for GWS, but they've certainly earned the respect. And what a debut for Josh Bootsma. Crowd loved him.
He only had the 7 disposals, but you look at the scoreboard and you're right. Look, it's workmanlike. That's the best way to describe the Carlton win.